So there's this encounter from 1997 that I keep coming back to. A research vessel is drifting off the coast of California, 130 kilometers out, middle of nowhere. The scientists on board are there for something completely different. At 7 in the morning, a bridge officer looks out and sees killer whales attacking sperm whales right in front of the ship. They grabbed their equipment and watched for 4 hours straight. 35 killer whales, 9 sperm whales. And what they documented that morning became one of the most detailed records we have of what actually happens when these two animals meet. The result? Losses on both sides. Let's talk about what each of these animals is actually bringing to that encounter. The orca is the most behaviorally sophisticated predator in the ocean. Different pods have different cultures, different hunting techniques, different dialects. They coordinate hunts across open water, they teach strategies to their young. They have been documented hunting great white sharks, blue whales, and humpbacks, animals far larger than themselves. There is almost nothing in the ocean they cannot take down when they work together. The sperm whale is something different. It has the largest brain of any animal that has ever lived, 6 times the size of a human brain. As you probably know, it communicates in codas, rhythmic click sequences that function as individual identifiers across hundreds of miles of open water. It dives to nearly 3,000 meters, producing clicks of 230 decibels. To put that in context, a jet engine at full throttle reaches around 140 decibels. A human eardrum ruptures at 150. It's the loudest sound produced by any animal on Earth. It has been living alongside orcas for millions of years. It knows what they sound like, from very far away. Back to that morning in 1997. The orcas attacked in coordinated waves, groups of 4 or 5, using what the researchers later described as a wound and withdraw strategy. Adult females led the attacks. Males waited on the perimeter. The sperm whales formed a tight circle, heads together, tails facing outward, a formation researchers call the marguerite. When the orcas managed to pull one animal out of the formation, 2 others immediately left the circle to flank the isolated whale and guide it back in. By the end, 1 sperm whale was dead, the rest seriously injured. 35 orcas, 4 hours, 9 sperm whales, 1 kill. That is not an efficient hunt. That is 2 highly intelligent species running their most sophisticated strategies against each other. The researchers noted something else. The surviving sperm whales were not unharmed. Most carried fresh wounds from orca teeth. Some were so severely injured that Pittman and his team believed they would not survive the following days. 8 animals, injured, in open ocean. What the orcas did with the killed sperm whale? Researchers don't have the full picture from that specific encounter, but from other documented hunts, we know a pattern very well. Orcas have been observed eating only the tongue of large whales, a single organ, leaving the rest behind. Why the tongue? It's almost entirely muscle, packed with protein and fat, the highest caloric density of any part of the whale, essentially the prime cut. And it's not a small meal. A sperm whale's tongue alone can weigh several hundred kilograms. So after 4 hours of coordinated attack, the reward might be a single organ, chosen deliberately, consumed precisely. That level of selectivity, in an animal that just spent 4 hours hunting, tells you something about how precisely orcas understand what they are doing. Now here's where it gets interesting. A study published in Scientific Reports played recordings of mammal-eating killer whales to solitary male sperm whales in the Norwegian Sea using underwater speakers. The response was immediate. The sperm whales interrupted their foraging dives and returned to the surface. They changed their vocal patterns. And, most surprisingly, these typically solitary animals began moving toward each other, grouping up in a way researchers had rarely observed in males. They heard the orca sounds, they assessed the threat, and they reorganized their behavior accordingly, from kilometers away. This isn't only instinct, it's information processing, acoustic intelligence being used in real time to make strategic decisions about predator avoidance. Most animals react. The sperm whale decides, while listening to the enemy. But attacks are not the most common outcome when these two species meet. Researchers who have spent years tracking both populations report the same thing consistently. Sperm whales and orcas share the same ocean, the same feeding grounds, sometimes the same stretches of water, and most of the time, nothing happens. The sperm whale detects the orca signature, It adjusts its dive pattern, its direction, its vocalization behavior. The orcapod, in many cases, moves on. Two highly capable predators, one of which is also prey, running a constant, largely silent negotiation about whether an encounter is worth the cost. And the cost, as that 1997 encounter showed, can be significant on both sides. And there is also the click, 230 decibels, focused into a tight acoustic beam. Researchers have proposed that sperm whales can use their biosonar not just for navigation and communication, but as a direct acoustic weapon. Orcas have extremely sensitive echolocation systems. A focused click burst at close range could disorient them, possibly injure their internal organs. No one has filmed this happening, but the physics support the possibility. And the orca's behavior around adult sperm whales, cautious, probing, rarely committing to a direct attack on a healthy group, suggests they are aware of what that sound can do. Here's what I keep thinking about when I look at all of this. Both of these animals have something we don't often attribute to non-human species. They have knowledge about each other that is passed down through generations. Orca calves learn which prey to hunt and how, from their mothers, from their pods. That knowledge is cultural. It changes over time. Sperm whale calves learn their codas over years of practice. They learn the sounds of predators. They learn how to respond. Which means that somewhere in the acoustic memory of every sperm whale alive today is the sound of an orca. And somewhere in the cultural knowledge of every orcapod that hunts marine mammals is the experience of what happens when you take on a healthy sperm whale group. They know each other, the way long-term rivals know each other, through accumulated experience, transmitted across generations, refined over millions of years of coexistence. There is a study from the Norwegian Sea where researchers tracked an orcapod moving through waters where sperm whales were actively feeding. The orcapod changed course, not because they were chased, not because they were threatened. They simply adjusted their route around the sperm whales and continued on. A decision, based on experience, passed down through their pod's history. And then the big question: fight, flight, or talk? Both species are vocalizing. Both are producing complex acoustic signals. Are they exchanging information? Are they signaling something to each other across the species boundary? We don't know. What we do know is that sperm whale codas and orca vocalizations operate on completely different acoustic architectures. They almost certainly don't understand each other in any meaningful linguistic sense, but they respond to each other. They have developed behaviors specifically shaped by the other's presence. They have, in some real sense, been listening to each other for millions of years. Whether that constitutes communication, or just two very sophisticated nervous systems running their best threat assessment algorithms in parallel, is one of the most interesting open questions in marine biology right now. And the answer, when it comes, is going to be worth listening to.